Hi, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. But that's not why I'm here today. This is another Saving Savvy episode, this time talking about mobile broadband, specifically the Cricket mobile broadband service. If you go to any mobile service provider webpage, you're going to see a lot of information on broadband. And if you turn on any TV channel, you're going to see commercials looking at mobile broadband. You know the ones, the guy standing in the swamp on his laptop, the person in the sidecar in the middle of nowhere on a motorcycle on his laptop, the guy sitting on a bench with this cool netbook that has wireless built into it. And the message that you get is that you can have broadband access anywhere you want in any part of the country, I guess maybe in any part of the world. But there are some definite problems with these major carriers, including the cost and the fact that you have to have a contract. Well, come along Cricket. Cricket is a company that's much smaller than these larger companies. They're actually building their own wireless network, and they're in a lot of different places, but not quite as many as the big players. But if you look at their ad, they tell you that they have a 3G network. They're going to give you the modem. It's only $40 a month, which is two-thirds the cost of the big boys. They're going to give you your first month free shipping. There's no contract, so there's no huge penalty if you break that contract. And it's unlimited as opposed to the 5 gigabyte limit that's placed on you by the other companies. Because it's really not unlimited, but that's at least what they're telling you in the ad. This seemed very intriguing to me, so of course the first thing I did was I went to the various bulletin boards out there. This is one from DSL Reports. People are talking about Cricket Broadband, and I would say the majority of them absolutely hate it. They say it's not good for their videos, that it takes minutes and minutes and minutes to constantly rebuffer their YouTube, that it's not good for their multiplayer games on the internet, and they think it's a big ripoff. But there's other reports that are a little more flattering. Here's one from PC Magazine from January of this year, and they thought Cricket was pretty good. In fact, if you look at the bottom line, they say it's a great home internet service and it bridges the digital divide as long as no one in the house is a heavy video user, and it had a lot of pros and really very few cons. So what's the truth here? Well, I thought I would investigate, and to do that, I also wanted to explain something to you. Because I think people really think that broadband wireless access is the same thing as broadband at home. They're really two different animals. Wireless access, we're talking about now your cell phone wireless internet connection, is really only good for basic internet functions. What do I mean by that? Well, things like static web pages. Now, the vast majority of information on the internet is in static web pages, so that's a good thing. And that's getting the news, or maybe getting a radar map of the weather, or making a hotel reservation, or seeing if your flight is going to be late, or looking at Wikipedia, or any of that kind of stuff. Those are static web pages. And broadband wireless access works pretty well with that. It's also pretty good for online forums. So let's say you work for some company or some agency and you have to go into people's homes or other places and ask them questions or have them sign up for something, and your particular organization uses a web-based form. Well, you could be in their home, open up your laptop, fill out the form, it goes immediately to the company, you're all done. It's also good for email, sending and receiving, and also attaching little attachments to that email like a Word document. Now, I have a little question mark on streaming audio, but I will tell you that I really have never had a problem streaming audio from any of these services, and I have used quite a few. I've used AT&T and also Sprint extensively all throughout the country. I've used Verizon just a little bit more, like kind of fooling around with it, but I have some experience with that. And of course, now I have a little experience with Cricket. What this broadband wireless access is not good for are things like video. So if you want to watch that TV show on Hulu, or you want to watch that funny cat video on YouTube, or maybe you want to pick up that little news clip from CNN or the human interest story from MSN, you're just not going to be very happy with the results using any of these services, at least in a consistent way. Now, if you're in the ideal location, it might work fine, but for most people, you're going to find that sometimes it works, sometimes it kind of works, and sometimes it just doesn't work at all. And that also goes for services that require a very rapid response kind of rate, like a multi user game. It's also important to realize that it's all about location, location, location. How close are you to the cell tower? The more bars that you have, typically the better your wireless connection is going to function. And where are you located? You might get a great signal out in the parking lot, but go into that office building or restaurant and your signal goes from 4 bars to 1 or no bars and it doesn't work. In fact, that could even happen in different rooms in your house. You might get a great signal in the kitchen and almost nothing in the bedroom. Lastly, the traffic on the network and the traffic at the tower will affect the overall performance. So you might have very different results at two different times of the day. Okay, here we are outdoors with our little USB modem attached. You can see this is an HP Mini, so the modem isn't tiny. It's not huge, of course. We're getting about 2 bars out here. In my house, I would get probably 1 to 2 to 0 bars, depending where I'm at. And we're on kind of a typical web page, MSN. So let's go through a few web pages to see how quick they load. First, let's go to Google, if I can find it on my sheet here, up on top there. And you can see that loads pretty quickly. We're going to go to another somewhat complex site, Badger and Blade, a little more complex than Google anyways. And that takes a few seconds to load. And you can see this does have some graphics on it. Again, pretty respectable, certainly usable. And I'm going to go to another site now. We'll go to eHam, which is an amateur radio site. That also has a lot of graphics and things. Again, not super complex. And that's taking a little bit longer. But, again, still reasonable. So if I scan, you can see we have some pictures here. And if we want to load that particular picture, there it goes. So again, it's a usable option. This is just a regular radio station website. We're going to see that we actually can stream audio on here. So I'm just double clicking on Windows. It opens it up.
WNIJ's online audio programming, including our live stream, is made possible by contributors to WNIJ. Make your contribution by going to WNIJ.org.
And there we have it. So it streams pretty well. Okay, let's see how it works with YouTube, and I'll tell you it does not work terribly well.
And I was able to work around a lot of its limitations. For instance, even though it doesn't have a video port,
Buffering.
for my purposes, I can load a PowerPoint presentation, for instance, on a
Buffering.
Well, there you have it. Is the Cricket broadband right for you? Possibly, if you're willing to accept the more limited coverage area and the somewhat slower speed. But remember, broadband isn't for everyone, and if you're a gamer or someone who wants to watch a lot of video, definitely look elsewhere. And also remember that this type of wireless broadband is not a substitute for your home cable or DSL service.